We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're gonna get kicked out of being number 2, you're gonna go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're gonna get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Look, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. Which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good morning on the West Coast. Good morning in the mountain. Good morning in the central. Good morning on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, Emily. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest, the reparation perspective, bringing you so great hot topics and making the case for reputation, making the case for weaponizing our foes, socializing our suffering. How y'all doing this Sunday morning, family? Thank you so much for rising early to join me. I see you, DJ Segwan. He was in the building before me. Shout out to DJ Segwan. Yaira, my love. Shout out to Root Trackers. Shout out to Kkkrow Indigenous. Shout out to Vincent Jackson. It's just Jules. I am so happy you guys have joined me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm still in my bonnet, family, but here I am. Shout out to Twitter. Shout out to Facebook. Let me scroll my banner. Let me scroll. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications, family. Oh, Lord have mercy. We got so much to chop up, and I'm really going to try to come back to you this evening because I don't know what my work week is going to look like. It probably will be crazy. I want to come back and talk about Cornel West throwing his hat in the ring for president and how it's an absolute no for me, dog. You know what, my co-host, you guys know I need you to keep it lit. What's up, Reps? I see you, fam. I need you to keep it lit over here because I'm going to try to get over here sooner than an hour to actually see what you have to say about it and share it with the masses and weigh in on what you got to say. As per usual, so get cozy and let's begin the buckery. Okay, first I want to give a shout out to Phil in his podcast. He has African Diaspora. Let's see what the name of this podcast is because I'm going to be sharing from his feed on this issue and weigh in with data to shore up why South Carolina has absolutely lost their minds to be even remotely mouthing that they intend to support Joe Crow. It's unfathomable, but let's get into it. And as per usual, I'll introduce my thoughts, my comments, my articles, my videos to show you why we are voting for our own genocide, why we continue to support these demon rats or stay home to our own genocide over doing what I've advised for the past couple of years, okay, that we weaponize the vote for two purposes, family. To close these borders and to bring the demon rats to their knees for several election cycles until they are begging us to cut our checks. There is no other way you're ever going to get anything tangible. All this no tangible, no vote. How has that worked for us? We've not been voting, and we've been voting blue no matter who. It is a failed strategy as predicated on the highest rates of homelessness in the country, the highest rates of unemployment and underemployment. This is what you've been voting for. This is why we are on the precipice of being genocided, on the precipice of becoming a permanent bottom caste. And the mainstream media is not going to show you the majority of us that are being evicted and the whole 9 yards. They're not going to show you that. You're only going to get that from me. I don't know anybody doing it on the level that I'm sharing with you. And I'm telling you, family, you cannot afford to be your people's reparations. Reparations is not only a debt that is owed, we're not going to make it without it. And it's because of the black vote. Let's get into it. Oh, Lord have mercy. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Let me share. Stand by. I go a little slow. I don't want to erase the entire live. And I wear all the hats. I'm being shadow banned, so help a sister out. Okay, let's get into it. Where is Phil's? I'm not going to show all of his broadcast, but I'm going to show enough of it so you can get the idea of what Black South Carolinas are continuing to niggardly do. Stand by. Okay, so this is Philip Scott podcast. Make sure you subscribe. He's really, really good. We have some disagreements about how to impress upon the people the importance and how imperative it is to vote to close the border and to punish the demon rats. But by and large, I really like his content. So let's get into it. I'm going to stop in between to share some things, my own insights as given to me by the ancestors. I'm going to be sharing that in between what I had to stop and start because I didn't get permission to do this, okay? So I can't do his whole thing. Hold on. Let's get into it.
To it, so let's go to it.
I think that's about it. Just I can't tell anybody who to vote for, but I can tell you who I can vote for, and I'm going to vote for Biden. We need to remember that, the same way we got him in there before, we have to do the same thing by voting. And we just have to instill in the younger people that they need to come on out to the polls and vote. They need to help people out if it's older, elderly people.
Sir, vote for what? What are we voting for? Like, why are you performing at voting? This is so freaking annoying. I mean, seriously, like, you just go do it to be doing it at this point. You don't care what these people do. You do it to be doing it. It's a habit for you every 2 years. I really believe that. You don't expect nothing. You don't want nothing. And us crazy younger folk who is just, we so crazy to think that our politicians should be earning our vote and doing something for our vote, just like they do for every other constituent, right? But he also said that we need to go out, get the old people, and take them to go vote. They never can say, what are we voting for?
Me speaking. This is where I'm having a challenge with Phil. Yes, we should not be voting for the demon rats. That much we agree. But when you've got a party that you've been a lapdog for since FDR, and you're sitting up here espousing no tangibles, no vote, no reparations, no vote, I'm asking you, how has that been serving us thus far? Has it done anything to compel the demon rats to give us anything tangible? And what I'm asking you, Black American freedmen Negroes, to do is to change the way you look at things so that things you look at change. I see too much fuckery going on. Hold on one second. Let me make sure you can see.
What?
Hold on.
I mean, I'm so sick and tired of
I got to make sure y'all can see. I don't even know if you can see. Okay, yeah, you can see. Great. Okay, the reason why I have to go back and forth is I can't see y'all when I'm on the other screen. Okay, I got to go over there to put my message together. I'll be back. I just had to come over and make sure you can see it just fine. Like I was saying, you guys are niggardly expecting to continue. You get us caught up into a perpetual cycle of lesser of two evil voting. You withhold and gerrymander and suppress your own vote over weaponizing it. You continue to show up to these polls and deliver Kkkrow, who is the author of the 94 crime bill, on the heels of the war on drugs, now war on poverty. He tells you on the campaign trail that if you don't vote for him, you're not Black enough. Kabami sits up there and says she's not doing anything specific for you. Kkkrow tells you at a debate, it's part of my intro, he's at the debates for his run and is asked a question about reparations and then pivots and tells us that the immigrants built the country and you need to get over yourselves because that's who he's going to cater to. And yet 86% of our electorate goes and deliver them. And then when I introduce the Freedmen protest voter strategy, Black American Freedmen Negro protest voter strategy, you sit up here and tell me no tangibles, no vote. All the while, that's how you've been voting. You ain't never got nothing tangible. You ain't never got no reparations. And you keep voting for the demon rats. We're on the bottom in every freaking metric in the country. And this is what y'all, 86% of y'all, listen, I'm over here to change minds and change consciousness. I'm going to try to beat y'all with a wet noodle. But the struggle is real. Because when I suggest to you, when I offer up to you that voting to close the borders is a tangible for Black American freedmen Negro, y'all look at me, some of y'all look at me like I'm crazy because you're expecting the Republicans, whom you never vote for, not by a majority like you do the demon rats, to give you tangibles and reparations without even having a conversation with them. The congressional black caucuses wouldn't even sit down with Trump and his administration to ask nothing for us. Trump gave more money to the HBCUs than even Joe Kkkrow. And Joe Kkkrow is putting conditions on the money he gives to the HBCUs. Mind you, the Ivy Leagues are more heavily federally endowed than the HBCUs. And yet our HBCUs have to be about all lives mattering. Whites and Hispanics and black immigrants are dominating at these HBCUs. Okay? They're dominating when it comes to the politics in this country. Your black vote is the reason. Your black vote has delivered 282 million white and white identifying immigrants into this country, as compared to our numbers that are falling off or staying stagnant. And I told you yesterday, the reason why our numbers are stagnant since the 70s is as they genocide us, they replace us with a nuclear black immigrant family who's got money, because they're not letting your poor arse into the country to do what they're giving away to these Venezuelans, Guatemalans, and to our communities. They're giving them everything. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just want to point out, this is where me and Phil, we part ways. I go straight down the middle. I ain't playing with this vote no more. My ballot is my nuclear missile, and we need to shift the consciousness in this country to do the same. We need critical mass behind this voter strategy. Look at the way they're crying in DeSatan's district, where he is shutting down. If you don't e-verify, if you can't clear e-verify, you can't work. Now, the problem with what DeSatan has done is that he didn't tell black folks with these abilities, which they took from us. I'm going to show you and share with you. Okay? I'm going to show and share with you about how his policy on these immigrants, these illegals being able to work and drive down salaries. It's a great idea. And that's what needs to happen all over the country. Now, if he's able to do it for Florida, and we can get a repugnant clan in office that can do the same for the country, we can at least stop the hemorrhaging. We can at least slow down the genocidal plans of the demon rats wherein black American freedmen Negroes are concerned. I am not pro either party. I'm an independent. I'm telling you, I am trying to eke out something tangible, and this immigration is most oppressive to our people, which makes it tangible. Let's get back to the video. I'll be over shortly. Good grief. Oh, that's the wrong. Hold on. Where's my blue square? Hold on, y'all.
People in our community like this. It's like, listen, we have advanced in technology. We have advanced in knowledge. And the people in our community are literally stuck. Like they don't have no way to research anything. I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. I'm going to vote Biden. I can't tell nobody else who to vote for, but I'm voting for Biden. That's why Black America stay losing, folks. That's why. People like him. Oh, but we ain't done. Let's continue.
Just about the results. It also is a mark of integrity that our top leader of our country has to show. And all of that matters. All of that matters. And so certainly Biden has proven himself in the last few years, and I'll be voting for him in the next election. Ma'am,
what integrity does Biden have? It just came out like a day or so ago that Biden had received payments from a corporation in Ukraine in the payment of $5 million. And when the moment that dropped, that's when they immediately indicted Trump on the federal level. I mean, they are doing a lot of dirt right now. I mean, that's a whole different podcast in itself, all the situation with Trump. But this with integrity, why are you taking money from Ukraine? All this money going on in Ukraine and nobody knowing what's going on with it. Well, like, who bank accounts is it really going into? Because it sounds like some straight money laundering in a lot of ways, right? But ma'am, like what did Biden do for black people? See, and this is the people that go and vote for Clyburn every time. Oh, Clyburn is doing a lot of great things in South Carolina. And South Carolina is one of the poorest places for black people in the nation. How do you have that man represent you all those years? Oh, I forgot. He gives you a fish fry, and that's all you need. A good.
Okay, let me interject here. He's absolutely correct, family. Because these demon rats are losing black support, you're threatening not to show up to the polls, suppressing your own vote. You got me and a lot of other people. I can't take full credit of growing support for closed border candidates, given my Black American Freedmen protest voter strategy. There are other blacks in the country who are pushing to get us to pivot, to vote for closed border candidates as well. And the challenge here is, family, Joe Crow has not totally been able to neutralize our vote, akin to the way the demon rats have been able to neutralize us economically. The demon rats need about 1 to 2 more terms to totally put us on a path of no return. We got maybe 1 more election cycle left, because let me help you understand what's going to happen when you guys deliver. If you guys, prayerfully you won't, if you guys deliver these demon rats one more time, it is the end of the line for Black America as we know it. Because they are going to make about 30 million illegal and DACA recipients legal citizens. They've already been made more American than us. They're going to make them legal so they can have the right to vote. This is what's problematic about continuing to vote for our own genocide by not weaponizing the vote. This is the reason Trump is being indicted. They know his momentum is a real threat, and they are doing this under the auspice of election interference to hide a lot of the nefarious criminal things that are going on with that Joe Crow administration. His own son was taking money up out of Ukraine. Now they've spent billions on this war with Russia vis-a-vis Ukraine. Those are our tax dollars. That's our reparations. While telling us they don't have money for reparations. They got a whole laptop scandal with Joe Biden's son, the crackhead. All that is going on. And so to deflect from Joe Crow and his administration's criminality, they put the spotlight on their most imminent threat and rival, Trump, who said on day one his intent is to close the borders. And I don't care what y'all say. He did better when it came to managing these illegals than the demon rats ever have. The demon rats are looking to genocide you with your own vote, catering to immigrants. The whiter they identify and the more anti-Black American freedman Negro they are, the more support they get, the more aid they get from ICE, who's supposed to be controlling the borders. They're processing them they found a loophole in the law through asylum seekers, when they know good and well These immigrants are crossing several countries before they get here where they can seek asylum if that was really what this was all about. This is you voting for your own erasure and replacement with them. And the notion that you would sit your arses at home at this most pivotal time when you should be out here weaponizing your vote, you're going to make space for Crayola wanton white supremacy to replace you, for immigrants to replace you, and Crayola wanton white supremacy to erase you. That's what staying home is going to get you in 24. And that's where me and Phil disagree. We cannot afford, after delivering 282 million white and white identifying immigrants, even the black ones, they could be blue, black, and will put down white, to not tie themselves to blackness, but for only when it serves them, to walk over top of us with our affirmative action and civil rights. These illegals will come over here and be made American with our reparations and our protections. And they'll vote for demon rats under 50K. But once they make 50K or greater, they pivot to the Repugnant Klan Party. They even want to lock the gate on this illegals because they know good and well when you are allowed into the country and you're given driver license, and this is what's happening in California, a sanctuary state. Newsom is giving them jobs, giving them green cards, giving them driver license, giving them food stamps, giving them health care. And then we spend all this while we spend 2 years on a reparations task force for him to send a dog whistle to the legislature that there will be no money. He's not endorsing money. That most of what we seek, he's already doing. And that was a great exercise to learn what not to do so he can all lives matter our reparations while we are being decimated legislatively. Nothing but immigrants controlling the state. The highest rates of unemployment, underemployment. This is what's coming for South Carolina if they continue this bullshiggity. I done told y'all not to vote for Brandon BJ over in Chicago. Let's get into it. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I got other stuff to show. Hold on. Let's finish this.
Fish fry every year, some old greasy, artery clogging fish fry that he's giving you, some old diabetes water, aka soft drinks, your Cokes. This is all over the black community. Biden knew what he was saying when he said that. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. But man, and I told y'all, don't expect too much out the collective of the community. I said this thing is a marathon, not a sprint.
Over the long memory of watching these institutions operate, that we are at a point that isn't like anything that I've watched up until now. And so as this next election gears up, given what we got through the last time, I'm real nervous. Like, and the nerves, the anxiety, it's building all the time.
Black to be in office is not going to be in office, so I'm just going to have to pick the lesser evil. And as of right now, that does seem like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Jesus Christ. And this, and they purposely talk to people from different age brackets. So you can't just say, we can't, and it's good they did this. So you can't just say it's a civil rights generation. This is all over the black community. That was a college student that just played the lesser two evils. She chose the pedophile and not the murderer. Lord.
The pedophile is the murderer too. I don't know what Phil is talking about here. But these demon rats are the warmongers. They constantly want to point to the repugnant clans, but they've gotten behind every repugnant clan war they have voted for, even the ones that were fake. And look at them now. When Trump was in office, we were not at war with Russia. So I don't know why Phil is making that distinction. The pedophile is the murderer. People are being slaughtered all over the world because of both parties, the demon rats and the Republican rhinos. But Trump wasn't using our reparations on war. He was not using our reparations to make immigrants whole, to give them a leg up. He was kicking them out of the country, unakin to what ICE is doing now, processing them under asylum seekers at the border and dumping them into our communities. Let's keep going.
I would throw my hat in if I was old enough. But if that's not who you want,
Stockholm syndrome, it's real. It is real. Loving your master in captivity.
I'm actually disappointed in Joe for a multitude of reasons. Simply because I thought he was going to do more beyond just the promises he made. And when they do, quote unquote, listen to the people, they backtrack everything once they get into that position of power. And I feel like Joe is just going to do that. He's going to backtrack, just like other presidents have backtracked. And so, honestly, I feel like right now America is in a state of emergency. We need some real change. And sadly, I would throw my hat in if I was old enough. But if that's not who you want, whose name do you throw in the ring? Who got next?
That young sister right there, she spoke with a lot of common sense. Out of all the people so far, that sister did. She realized Joe Biden and the Democrats haven't done nothing for black people. They played the 3-card Monty. But she just didn't say he does for everybody else except us. I wish she would have added that, right? But she said, hell, if I was old enough, I would throw my name in there, right? And I think they should change the age way there she needs to be. But she gets to the Democrats and ain't doing crap for black people. Let's continue.
She can say it 1,000 times, but because we're not connected to that politician, we're not going to necessarily care. But I bet you if Drake, Nicki Minaj, Sean King, just any celebrity that's out there with a voice says it, then we're going to be, okay, I get what she's coming from. So I feel like you just need somebody that's just relatable, somebody that's real, somebody that's...
Stacey Abrams would be a very good candidate, or Gavin Newsom. I think that they are able to tap into young voters, and they have a lot of innovative ideas.
Obviously, the best thing is when you have someone that has a good command of policy, but is also very charismatic, quick on their feet. You know, obviously, Barack Obama was real good about that. Reagan certainly had his moments for his thing. That's why his legacy and persists in Republican circles.
I would think the question is, and I'm going to vote Democratic. I am. But I wish that there was another Republican option, honestly.
And why is that?
Well, because I'm not strictly Democratic.
So you mentioned what? 2-time loser, Stacey Abrams, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, look at how California has been ran into the ground underneath his leadership. He played games with black people with the California Reparations Commission. When the commission recommended cash payments for reparations, first thing he came out and said, oh, no, reparations more than just cash payments now. And then all them recommendations, we already doing them anyway. And then when people got up on his bumper about it, like, well, I'm just saying, let me see the proposal. And, he's just playing games, too. So Gavin Newsom, no. That's Nancy Pelosi's kinfolk anyway. So hell no. That's number one. The other guy toward the end say, oh, I'm gonna vote Democratic. Why? If you don't have anybody, why? I mean, like y'all don't realize that the Black American community is literally, and I didn't think I would be saying these words. The Black American community is on life support right now. Life support.
And where'd you hear that first, family? Where have you been hearing this from since 2019? The reparationist perspective. I have been telling y'all we are on life support. I have been telling y'all that these institutions are Negro-pean washing the minds of our young Black youth. They are sitting up here listening to the likes of Kkkrow sitting down with the likes of a Cardi B. They're listening to celebrities who are paid to sabotage us. They are paid exceptionally well in Hollywood. I've shared with you guys about that on this channel. I have shared with you about how they're bought and paid for in the pockets of the demon rats to keep us sheep walking to the polls to our own genocide. Diddy, Cardi B, Kerry Washington, who's immigrant, the star of Scandal. I have been telling you this. And this is what we're up against, family. This is what we're up against in trying to weaponize this vote. Because whiteness and trying to be as close to it as possible is blinding us to the realities on the ground. We are at ground zero. And yet, it ain't just the boomers, like Phil pointed out, that's about continuing down this path to the end of the line. It is tragic. You put someone like Barack Obama up here as if he did us anything other than to drive us. He was the first wave of Black American freedmen, Negro, losing half their wealth that they could bequeath to their children, their homes. He bailed out Wall Street and the banks, did not put audits or regulation on those banks who took our homes after getting us caught up in these adjustable mortgages, these adjustable rate mortgages that they were gambling on through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Wall Street gambled on this. The banks took us to the cleaners on this. No one went to jail. And Wall Street were getting parachutes, golden parachutes, as our tax dollars were being used to bail them out. Some of them were paid, like the lay employees were paid like $500,000 when they tanked these big brokerage companies and tanked the banks. Wells Fargo, I remember the CEO, John Stump, he got like 1.5 million or somewhere thereabouts. They get wealthy when they drive us into despair. These are the demon rats. But folks constantly want to come up in my feed and challenge me. What have the Republicans done for Black Americans? Have you ever been their loyal voting lapdog? Have you ever sat down at a table and negotiated with the Republican clan to do a damn thing for you? Are they just supposed to know that you want tangibles in exchange for your vote by osmosis? Are they supposed to look into the crystal ball? Look into the crystal ball and give a damn about my needs as a people, as a community. Is that what you're expecting them to do? But you got so much criticism of me telling you that we are at a time we can't wait for reparations to get active in our own survival. We got to weaponize the only thing we've got left right now. That's the Black vote. Okay, let me shut that down. And
share a little bit more about what Marcel Dixon has to say on the campaign trail about Joe Crow. He has been running for Congress to unseat the Coon Clyburn in District 6, South Carolina. I want to say it's the 4th poorest district or something crazy. I have to look up the stats on that. It's one of the poorest districts in the country. It's up there. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you for joining the live. If you feel so compelled to bless the broadcast, please do so at Cash App because ScrewTube is not giving me your super chats. Thank you in advance. Okay, let's go. Hold on. Where does District 6 rank in poverty in the country? District 6, South Carolina. Hold on, guys. I'm Googling. Okay, I can't find that information readily. Let's see if Marcel says it in this article. Hold on one second. I'm reading a little bit from the Daily Mail. Let's see what he has to say about Joe Crow. Oh, Lord have mercy. Dixon proposes that federal reparations in the form of $2.8 million in cash bonds should be paid to Americans who both identify as Black and can trace their ancestry to people who were enslaved in the U.S. prior to the Civil War. Let me share with you where I'm reading from, the Daily Mail. Hi, Diane. Hi, X Friedman. Hi, Gregory X. Hi, Beth. Okay. Stand by, guys. And for those of you who aren't in the chat, keeping it lit for me as my co-host, welcome to the live. Okay, let me show you what I'm reading from, and I'll be over to look. What am I at? Okay, I'm not at an hour yet. Okay, I do want to do this in under an hour. Hold on. Share the screen. Okay. So let me show you where I'm reading from. This is Daily Mail, and it's Marcel Dixon running for Congress. Now, the challenge I'm having with people like Cornel West running for president, even Marcel Dixon running for Congress, I am like my sister friend who taught me well from CAP, Miss Asun Powell, comrade and General Asun Powell. I am tired of the L's, people. I want us to win. And so my thing is, we can't continue to afford to throw good money after bad. I'm not trying to douse anyone's dreams of going from a local yoko to the Senate to presidency, but that's not usually how it works for us, okay? We usually have to start at the school board and do some things locally before we can have credibility for Black American freedmen Negroes to get behind you with their dollar, because our dollar is hard to come by. And we know the radical you are, the revolutionary that you are. And so it's very, very difficult to win. You just, listen, we can keep the message of reparations alive for free. I do it damn near for free over here. I don't really need to pay you to do that. You should be doing it anyway as a part of the grassroots. But I feel like sometimes we're just going on these fundraising campaigns knowing that we don't have a snowball chance in hell of winning. Why aren't we running locally and working our way up through the ranks to the Senate? But that's a whole nother Oprah. That's just kind of what I've come to when I keep seeing us lose, I feel like my General Powell, how she has shared with me, Angela, this is a failing strategy. They have no record of doing anything and changing policies locally. And I see her point of view. So that's why you don't really see me caping hard for these kinds of things and having you guys pour your money into candidates that cannot win. Okay. But I do love Marcel and how he stands up for reparations. I love his voice. I love that he's built so much momentum and so much support, and he has such a larger base of people to talk to than I generally do. So I'm not disparaging the brother for his ambitions. I'm just saying it's time to win. And I'm telling you the winning formula that's easy breezy for y'all to not just stay home, but put it in the demon rat's face that you did this to them directly for their intentional neglect and ethno-genocidal plans to erase and replace us with immigrants. If at the end of the day it says 60% turned out for closed border candidates, do you know the power in that messaging? It will send shockwaves through the demon rats. We may only have to do it for 1 to 2 election cycles before they're begging us to cut our checks. That will not happen if you leave it to chance. It will not happen if you don't weaponize your vote. It will not happen if you don't overstand and understand that closing the borders is intangible. It will not happen if you're just politically lazy and give up and stay home. It will not happen if you vote for the Kkkrow administration to win another term to finalize their plans to erase the black vote. I have to take a sip of water, y'all. I'm not in my boudoir because the Ethernet cable is over here, and it was buffering yesterday. So I had to come into my living room, and I feel my blood pressure rising. Let me take a sip. Calm down, Nirvana. Calm down. Let me inhale, exhale. Nam Yeho Renge Kyo. All together, everybody that's feeling traumatized right now. Inhale. Love for Black American Freedman Negro. Exhale. Peace for Black American Freedman Negro. One more cleansing breath in. Let us woosah. Okay, I'm back. Dixon proposes that federal reparations in the form of $2.8 million in cash bonds should be paid to Americans who both identify as Black and can trace their ancestry to people who were enslaved in the U.S. prior to the Civil War. He said he believes Biden could issue reparations with an executive order reinstating the Freedmen's Bureau, a federal agency that was tasked with assisting formerly enslaved people after the Civil War. Let me speak to this. Congress holds the bag. Congress holds the bag. He could sign an executive order all he wants for a Republican clan to come through there and overturn it. And it's going to take Congress to fulfill whatever he signs. This is in vain. And the Freedmen's Bureau, that's now being used. They're weaponizing the pillaging of the Freedmen's Bureau where they robbed from freedmen. They are using that now to give the comeuppance to the illegals. They had a Freedmen Bank forum. I'm going to try to show that footage too. Lord knows I'm running out of time of all the things I want to show. So let me skedaddle and get through this article and try to do just sound bites when it comes to my commentary. Okay. The Freedmen's Bureau, a federal agency that was tasked with assisting formerly enslaved people after the Civil War. This is a great time to bring up that video. Hold on one second. Some of you have been rolling with your sister for a few years now. You've seen this already because you kind of watch faithfully, even if you can't join me live. But a lot of you who are new have not. Hold on. And this is something I want to show because I want to show South Carolina what's coming if they continue to vote blue, no matter who, to their own genocide, to their own erasure and replacement. Let me try to play this. Hold on one second. I got to find. Hold on, family. I'm going to share my screen. This is what's coming for you, South Carolina. Let me show you, family, how at the Freeman Bank Forum, as spearheaded by Janet Yellen and Kabami, is giving the comeuppance on our history. They're weaponizing our history, not teaching it. Oh, they'll lament and bemoan and do all these things to make the case to give what is owed to us to them. Now, this particular gentleman that you're about to hear from at the Freedman Bank Forum that Marcel is mentioning, that these white folks in the government robbed and pillaged, this recent bank forum, how is giving the Hispanics all the monies to take over North Carolina. Stand by.
And disproportionately spend resources that they can ill afford, which can be better used by their families. That's our focus, these dollars, and I'm delighted to say, and you'll see the report, we were a recipient of 71.2 million. And Mr. Secretary, Deputy Secretary, if you'll say to Secretary Yellen and the rest that I am delighted that we finally got to numbers that are realistic. Thank you very much.
Now, before I let Luis Pasteur speak, how much, that's a bank in Baltimore, that's a bank in Maryland. I'm not sure if it's Baltimore. How much of that 71.2 million impacted the Black communities? Right now, what's happening in Chicago is happening in Maryland, if that can be believed. We'll get into it, but I want you to tell me in the chat how much of that money that was earmarked for that Black bank has impacted the Black communities in Maryland. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm going to get to your comments. Keep going. Okay, let's get to this other guy, Luis. I want you to hear him.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Luis Pastor. I came from Durham, North Carolina. And before that, I came from a different world, completely different world, before coming to the United States 21 years ago. And was the year that we started Latino Community Credit Union as a sad news, a sad response to a continuous attack to the immigrant community. But I think that we were in the journey to prove that we're not going to let the people tell our story.
Family, let me start this part over. His accent is very thick. I don't know what the volume is like for you, but it's low on my end. I want to flash the subtitles. Stand by. How do I get to the subtitles? Oh, God. It's off. I know. I want to turn it on. Hold on, guys. I can't. I must be at the wrong place. Hold on. That's where I turned it off earlier, but it's not giving me the option to turn it back on. Okay, I don't have a lot of time to fool with it. I clicked on this wheel before. Hold on. There, no, subtitles off. Let's turn them. I had to go to another video to turn it on. Uh-oh. Let's go back. Try it again.
I came from Durham, North Carolina. And before that, I came from a different world, completely different world. Before coming to the United States 21 years ago. And was the year that we started Latino community.
It's not allowing me to show the subtitles here. Sorry, fam. Let's just listen closely.
Credit union as a sad news, a sad response to a continuous attack to the immigrant community. But I think that we were in the journey to prove that we're not going to let the people tell our story. From a sad situation, we need to transform our institution into a very, very happy situation. And how do you do that? Just becoming the place of opportunity. Just becoming the place where you don't need to hide who you are. The place that we can pronounce your last name. The place that we can speak in your language. Most of the time. The place where the largest fear that all of us have dealing with financial institutions is rejection. It's just going, it doesn't matter who we are. Every time that you go, you just don't want people because you feel that they are judging you as a person. They're not judging. And the problem is that most of the time it's true. They judge you as a person. If you don't know, if you don't show, if you don't look, if you don't speak like the person that they're expecting. So 21 years later, we are, in credit union world, we're a large credit union. We are 700 million in assets, soon to be 800 just with the money that we are going to be awarded.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? The Black Bank in Maryland got 70 million. They put this immigrant and his credit union in North Carolina closer to $1 billion because they gave him 100 million at the Freedman Bank Forum.
And recently, in the last few months, we started just offering mortgages in the surrounding states. In 3 months, we just booked mortgages in Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, on top of North Carolina. When we talk about individuals, communities that have been let out in every single economic crisis, there we are.
Mortgages all over the South. Okay, South Carolina, y'all go FAAFO. Okay.
They are the immigrants. And even don't let our name confuse you. Even we are called Latino Community Credit Union. We have immigrants from 136 countries in the world.
136 countries from around the world. And Black American freedmen Negro have not been made whole.
So the exclusion is not just something that is only based on your country of origin. It's a common situation. We're going to keep expanding. We're going to keep opening opportunities. We're going to keep dreaming. The message that we have been
dreaming. They love to weaponize our never-ending Holocaust against us for their come up with the help of the demon rats. Let's not get amnesia in 24. Trump did not do this.
Been giving to our community more than 100,000 members that we have right now is that when you are an immigrant, you come here, probably the public perception is that you need to be patient. You need to wait. You need to wait for sometimes for decades or sometimes for generations. And the reality is that we don't want to be patient. We don't want to wait because we want to have our house. We want to have our businesses. We want to contribute. We want to be able to provide some wealth and transfer this wealth to our kids because that's the reason why we came here, not to be patient. Want to be patient, we can stay where we are. But the whole system has been always telling us that you have enough just to survive another year, that you have enough to, so when suddenly institutions, treasury, super wealthy donors start seeing that through economic development is how you can start really building communities.
Did you hear that? While the demon rats scratch their proverbial balls as to why in every demon radically ran city, there's a high rate of crime and murder. Because you have purposely taken our resources and given it to the likes of these immigrants. The legal, the illegal, the asylum seekers, the refugees, and the black vote has helped these demon rats to genocide us.
It's time for us to realize that we don't need to be patient. We don't want to be patient. We need to realize that we are the solution that our community is looking for. We were started by our own leaders in our community because nobody was able to open accounts for us. And now everybody's looking for the Latino market in North Carolina. You know what? Too late. Too late.
So when Marcel talks about the Freedmen's Bureau, a federal agency that was tasked with assisting formerly enslaved people after the Civil War. Hold on. What happened? Let's say, why did the Freedmen Bank end? Here we go. Let me share. Because I need to make it immemorial over here. Hi, Queen Yasmin. I see you, my love. Hold on. They got the wrong part highlighted. Why did the Freedmen Bank end? When a financial panic hit the country in 1873, most of the Freedmen's Bank investments lost value or became worthless. The part that needs to be highlighted is the next sentence. The bank was doomed. Several branches were hit by bank runs, during which crowds of depositors demanded their money. Nope, that's wrong. What contributed most to the collapse of the Freedmen Bank in 1874? What contributed most to the collapse? Rich industrialists manipulated the bank for their own profit. That's the highlight. Weakening the bank's finances before a general depression brought it down. Who were the rich industrialists? The U.S. government. They're not telling you the whole truth. The Freedmen's Saving and Trust Company was a private corp chartered by an act of the U.S. government, signed in 1865 by President Abraham Lincoln. It was created to help develop the newly freed African Americans as they endeavored to become financially stable. Many victims waited for years for a mere fraction of their deposits to be returned. The question is, what happened to the deposits of African Americans in the Freedmen's Bank? Many victims waited for years for a mere fraction of their deposits to be returned. The failure of the Freedmen's Bank financially devastated many who had entrusted it with their funds and has been linked to a cultural legacy of distrust toward the banking system within the Black community. What made the failure of the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company in 1874 so tragic? Because of mismanagement, abuse, fraud, and other economic factors, the Freedmen Bank fell in 1874, leaving tens of thousands of its depositors in economic ruin. What were two failures of the Freedmen's Bureau? A lack of funding, coupled with the politics of race and Reconstruction, meant the Bureau was not able to carry out all of its initiatives, and it failed to provide long-term protection for Blacks or ensure any real measures of racial equity. That's because they left the criminals in charge, the criminals of the country. Who was in charge of the Freedmen Bank? See, look at how they do. They want to jump to Frederick Douglass and blame him for the failure. Immediately when you search who was in charge, they pulled Frederick Douglass in after it was too late. He used 10,000 of his own dollars to try to turn the Titanic around. Lion asses. Look at Google. Scrubbing the real history. Look at him. Soft shoeing it. Hold on. How did the government participate in the failure of the Freedmen Bank? The bank's assets were not protected by the federal government, and Congress refused to reimburse depositors. But we're told to pull ourselves up by our bootless straps, right? That's not the whole story. No, they're not talking about the real thieves. Which white people drove the Freedmen Bank into financial ruin? I'm trying to get to the truth of this story. They always want to just defer to a financial panic hit the country in 73. They want to gloss over the intricacies. In 1867, the Freedmen's Bank moved its headquarters from New York City to D.C. after a group of local bankers, politicians, and businessmen began to take control. At the urging of the new trustees, Congress amended the bank's charter. The trustees now began to invest in real estate projects and railroads, and they made risky loans to friends. Here we go. Let me see. Let me stop this and share that. I'm making a point. I'm going to get to it. This is what happened. Married to a corpse. Can y'all see that? Okay. In 1867, the Freedmen's Bank moved its headquarters from New York City to Washington, D.C. Soon after, a group of local bankers, was that black folks, politicians, and businessmen, was that black folks, began to take control. At the urging of the new trustees, Congress amended the bank's charter. The trustees now began to invest in real estate projects and railroads, and they made risky loans to friends, some with no collateral. White folks, glacier donkeys. Some of the trustees were in charge of other banks as well. And when they made bad loans at those banks, they transferred the bad loans to the Freedmen's Bank. As Frederick Douglass, a famous writer and speaker widely respected in the African American community, would later describe it, the bank had become the black man's cow, but the white man's milk. Now, with Barack Obama in charge, what was different about the financial crises in mortgage, in real estate? The government's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac gave us these adjustable rate mortgages in a very nefarious attempt to increase people of color home ownership in the country. They gave us bad loans that Wall Street made a commodity of on the open markets. And when those rates adjusted and the black folks could not afford those mortgages, the whole shit fell down. The bottom fell out of real estate, and it impacted Wall Street because they were gambling on the nefarious way in which these banks participated with the government to lend to us in order to make us homeowners. And because we don't have the down payment, we don't have the credit scores, we don't have the incomes, we gambled too because we wanted a piece of home ownership. We wanted to be a part of the dream of home ownership. So we allowed ourselves to be coerced by the countrywides into adjustable rate mortgages that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac gambled with them on to give to us. They were seeking us out for these adjustable rate mortgages that they knew were volatile. It was cool as long as the rate was low, but when that rate adjusted, we got foreclosed on. And the very Wall Street who was gambling on this, when they lost money, they got bailed out, just like you see these banks getting bailed out all over the country, while black people are being genocided. That was Barack Obama, not Trump. Over 50% of us lost our wealth, our homes, and have never recovered. Barack Obama didn't insist on an audit to ensure after our tax dollars were used to bail out these frauds on Wall Street, the frauds in the banks. Barack Obama did nothing to guarantee that they were going to get us back in homes, akin to what happened here. at the Freedmen's Bank. And with the black vote, you got Kabami and Yellen at a Freedman Bank forum, giving a black bank $71 million and giving a Hispanic credit union in North Carolina to take over the South $100 million. And you can guarantee that same black bank that got that $71 million, they're not giving that to black people. They're not giving that to our communities. We're being gentrified out. We're being erased and replaced, and we've got nowhere to go. They've got countries to go to. Our people do not. But this is what we niggardly keep voting for. Let me show you a little bit more before I come to the comments. Not of this. I want to show you what's happening in Chicago, which used to be predominantly black. They're being forced out to parts unknown. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Chat, I'll be over momentarily. God knows I've gone over. Good grief. Hold on, but I got to show you this. And I'm only going to show you this, but I have to do a whole segment on this. But I just want South Carolina to have a peek into their future when they continue to vote for the Democrats over weaponizing the vote. Hold on. Now, I told these Mickey Fickies not to vote for this man.
To be very clear that there are families in the city of Chicago who have been ignored for a very long time, right? You got to admit that. Thank you, man. We have to admit that.
So he'll pay lip service to that fact, right? But let's keep going. Hold on.
And so I want to make sure that black families who have been left out and that the brown families who want in are not seen as a divided space.
This is the community that you're pushing this over on. This was what city officials encountered during a community meeting at South Shore College Prep. There were so many angry outbursts, they never gave their presentation.
I don't have anything else to say. I'm ticked off. You're doing this wrong. You're doing it wrong. 250 people? Give me a break.
More than 8,000 migrants have been bused to Chicago, most of them from Texas, since late August. The city has housed asylum seekers in shelters, park district facilities, and police stations. City Hall now proposes housing 250 to 500 migrants at the shuttered South Shore High School.
It is a chair for them to sit, a place to decompress, and a place to take a hot shower. That's really what this is, and a nice meal. It's a place to decompress and not be in a police district.
Despite community pushback, the city opened a vacant Woodlawn school to migrants earlier this year. South Shore residents expressed similar concerns about safety, use of their tax dollars. Many felt blindsided.
We do not hear from city officials until election time. This is insulting at its best.
49th Ward Alderwoman Maria Haddon says the city should consider housing migrants at McCormick Place, Navy Pier, or vacant big box stores so neighborhoods are not inconvenienced. Haddon says managing a few large sites would be easier than managing multiple smaller ones. The Alderwoman points out that McCormick Place has a lot of space, multiple facilities that the city can use. And
hold on, guys. I wanted one that was far more robust. That's not strong enough for the reparationist perspective. Let me show you this one.
consider such action about a forgotten community that none of you live in.
Developing tonight, outbursts and outrage at a community meeting in South Shore over a housing plan for migrants.
The debate comes as the city deals with the crisis of where to put migrants bussed in from the border.
Elizabeth Matthews is live now with more. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, contentious to say the least. This forum was a chance for city leaders to get input from the public about the old South Shore High School housing migrants. The city got their input.
A packed house at the South Shore International College Prep High School. The crowd voicing their opinion, strongly opposing the addition of migrants in their community.
I am just outraged. I'm outraged, and I don't understand why our community was chosen.
City representatives saying the old South Shore High School would not be a shelter, but one of 3 respite centers for the migrants to temporarily sleep, eat, and take a shower, starting with about 250 people taking up the building's first floor. This is a way for the city to get the current 300 migrants out of the police stations. Questions were asked, but answers hard to hear, interrupted by the upset crowd. Before the meeting, a small protest of South Shore neighbors demanding the energy put into the migrant issue be put into their neighborhoods.
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us.
Was this happening under Trump? Put it in the chat.
That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The Black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois, that they are not just welcome, but they are serviced.
So is this a done deal? A spokesperson for Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office says this is a possible solution, but still a fluid situation. Reporting live tonight, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
It's a hot ass mess.
The people on the south side of Chicago are mad as hell, and they ain't gonna take it no more. And I cannot say that I blame them. So last week, city officials met with people in South Shore, Chicago, to tell them that more asylum seekers will be moved to their neighborhood. Specifically, there's an abandoned school that they want to turn into like a shelter to house what they say is like 200 to 300 immigrants that come into Chicago per day, right? But again, the Black people, which is predominantly Black on the south side of Chicago, says, nah, we don't want them here. In fact, some of them were saying, build the wall 2024. And just basically, they can't come here because they said, y'all want to allocate all of that money to help immigrants. But what about the people here? Now, they also said that they were told when Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who is leaving, got into office, that they would entertain turning that school into some sort of a youth center. So they're like, we want that for us. Also, there's a lot of gun violence and homelessness going on there in the south side. So they're like, how y'all gonna spend all this money to help people who really do not belong here? But there's people here already struggling. So I want y'all to watch this video of this 11-year-old boy who said this.
Youngster!
I got nothing to do. I'm wondering, why didn't they move into the Hispanic community?
I agree with him. Why y'all can't move them to the Hispanic part of town? Why y'all always moving people where we live? Now, y'all remember a couple of months ago, Lori Lightfoot pulled that mess with our Black residents as well when they tried to move in immigrants. And it's like, there's other parts of Chicago, right? Like the people are saying, what about the north side? They're a little bit more affluent. They got a lot of vacant, nice buildings. Y'all could put the migrants in, but why y'all always dumping stuff over here on us? Well, we know why, because Black people vote for the Democrats. And let's just keep it a buck. It's the Democrats in Chicago that's making those decisions to dump everybody else onto Black people. And so I'm going to say this to us as Black people. Stop voting against our better interests. Those Negroes get in there on the help of Black people, you know, making Black people think, yes, I understand, I'm going to make sure, and all this other stuff. And then they get in there and be like, oh, I said that? Oh, okay, well, let me think about it while I go help everybody else. Now, Brandon Johnson, the incoming mayor, he says, while I agree that immigrants should get help, but they should not get help before the people that already live there. So he's kind of like trying to toe the line, if you will, straddle the fence, instead of saying, nah, they can't come here. They can't come here until every resident in the south side of Chicago has what they need, right? We're not going to prioritize everybody else over there. So that's what he should be saying, right? But again, that was the work of Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who during her term thought it was cute to dump more problems onto Black people. So anyway, y'all tell me what you think of this. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel.
Okay, guys. I did have one more I want to share, and then I'll come to your comments. I want to talk about this money that they keep talking about, the 51 million, but I want to share with y'all that that 51 million was in addition to the 125 million. Hold on one second. This is what's happening to the people because they keep voting Demon Rat. They voted for BJ, Brandon Johnson, who never told them he would be about them. And when they tell you that they're not going to be about you, and even when they do, they're lying. We've only been doing this since FDR. Hold on. Oh, God.
How dare this mayor?
Evanston, Illinois, is making history as the first U.S. city to offer reparations to its Black residents who have faced decades of discrimination and inequality. But
Evanston offered a housing voucher that maybe 2 people benefited from. They offered $25,000 for home repairs or down payment assistance. We're not the majority in Evanston. And they were going to use reefer taxes in order to give them this money. And I don't even believe that they've raised that kind of money on the reefer taxes. I've not done the research, so I'm not going to say it, enthusiastically and with an exclamation point. But what they were offering Evanston was a housing voucher. That is not reparations. They be lying and playing in our faces, family. Home repairs. How many? You see, this is when you need Blackness unflattened, because blackness masks the failures of this government at every branch concerning Black American freedman Negro. It masks the failure because they also don't tell you that Evanston, Illinois is predominantly Black immigrant. I think maybe only 24 people qualified and only 2 got it. Don't quote me. You have to look at the archives, or I'll try to weave it in when I go back to Evanston and really flesh this story out, okay? But I'm just using this to show South Carolina a peek into their future. Hold on.
But not everyone is happy with the city's decision to allocate $51 million from a new tax on legalized marijuana to support migrants and refugees.
Once again, they want to use the taxes for marijuana. Is that all y'all doing? Is puff passing in Chicago, in Illinois? I got questions.
Some Black residents and activists are demanding that the city council show the same passion and urgency for passing a reparations order for the Black community, which makes up about 16% of Evanston's population. They argue that the city has a moral obligation to address the harms caused by systemic racism, such as redlining, segregation, and police brutality. The City Council voted in 2019 to create a reparations fund of $10 million over 10 years, with the first $400,000 to be distributed as housing grants of $25,000 each to eligible Black households. However, some critics say that this amount is too little and too restrictive, and that true reparations should include cash payments, education, healthcare, and other forms of restitution. The debate over reparations in Evanston reflects a growing movement across the country to reckon with the legacy of slavery and racial injustice. Several states, cities, and institutions have launched or proposed reparations initiatives, and a bill to create a national commission to study reparations has gained momentum in Congress. What do you think about Evanston's approach to reparations? Do you support or oppose it? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
My name is Andre Smith, and I'm the CEO of an organization called Chicago Against Violence. I also stopped the migrant bus going to Wadsworth and was arrested with my friend Tyrone Muhammad. How dare this mayor and city council,
whom y'all voted for,
have the guts to give migrants $51 million.
That's on top of $125 million. They're giving them $20 million a month.
I demand you to have the same passion and urgency to pass the City of Chicago reparations ordinance, and also give us an office for Black Americans, just like the new Americans. We didn't have the luxury or the opportunity to cross the border. We didn't have the privilege to cross the border. We came over here being raped, stolen, beaten, chained in the bottom of ships. And you give migrants $51 million? Have you forgot who you are? Or let's go to Michael Jackson when he say, look in the mirror. I urge you to get conscious, to realize who you are. Our ancestors are looking at us and holding us accountable. Don't say you Black if you're not going to put your pen where your mouth is. Pass the ordinance for the City of Chicago reparations. And congratulations, Mayor.
You're going to do all of that, and then you're going to congratulate the very man that's undermining you and erasing and replacing you with immigrants. The Stockholm Syndrome amongst our people is a real serious thing here, family. How are you going to go hard and then in the end congratulate the very man responsible for why you are being undermined in your own communities? For why your tax dollars aren't being used to make you whole, but are being used to make illegals whole. These illegals will be ahead of them in 5 years off of our reparations and protections and housing and food and clothing and shelter. I got one more thing I want to show. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second, family. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you for joining the live. I'm trying to find that one video where okay, hold on. That's not it. I'm trying to find this video where they were outside and had this Hispanic lawyer. I think I've shown it in one of my other videos, but I kind of wanted to tie it here. I'm not going to look for it long because I need to wrap this up. We'll be on 2 hours soon, and I want to get to your comments. Let me go. Just give me a second, family. Hold it down. I just want to memorialize this particular segment that I saw where they were outside of South Shore holding a news conference.
old news conference with lawyer. Hold on, outside. City Council meeting in South Shore. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. I really want to memorialize that here. Let's see, is this it? No. Hold on, guys. Just a second. It was really, really great what they were sharing. Here we go. Let's see. Hold on, family. Sharing my screen. Thank you for your patience.
People on the floor of the lobby here at this police station here in Greater Grand Crossing. Now, the loss
lies in the our specific frustration lies in the continuous and blatant disregard for the safety and overall quality of life of Black residents, as many of these migrants have been dumped in our neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
A number of people.
Me interjecting. We are now down from 17 to 3% Black American Negro freedmen in the state of California because they continue to vote blue to their own peril here. They have been legislated out of here because they continue to show to the polls to vote for these demon rats. We're about 2 million, if not less than that, in this state. The Hispanics are now over 50%, so they've got all the representation. And so what ends up happening with the Black vote, you continue to vote demon rat to your own genocide. Because when you don't have a majority in the state of California, or even half, you don't have representation where it matters. Which is why the task force hearings, in retrospect, feel like it was totally in vain, because you are looking and seeking, now that they dominate, now that California has become Little Mexico, you are now in a position where you have to beg anti-Black American freedmen Negro to cough up the cash repair as outlined in this proposal. And that's what you set yourselves up for all over the country, South Carolina. You're setting yourself up to never having your needs met. And we have no place to go.
People who live in South Shore spoke at a rally in front of the closed high school yesterday. The school was most recently used as a police academy. They told reporters they wanted a community or youth center to go into the school.
We have been redlined, Jim Crow, pushed out enough.
The city says between 250 to 500 migrants would be housed at the school, and Chicago police would have officers at the location around the clock. Chicago is desperately trying.
They're going to have the cops there around the clock to protect them, because these people can't find a cop when they need one. Those cops are for us and to protect them.
Trying to find a place to house asylum seekers. Currently, there are about 500 staying at district police stations.
We're talking about migrants and asylum seekers that came from violent nations, that came from war, that came from poverty.
why are we putting them in an area where they could be further traumatized? Right.
Now listen to him. They have niggardly hired a Latino to represent them. His representation is more about them being traumatized, not us. Let's back it up and hear it again. You got to listen with your third eye, family. Listen with your third eye.
Stations.
We're talking about migrants and asylum seekers that came from violent nations, that came from war, that came from poverty. Why are we?
Violent nations, war, poverty. They're not vetting these migrants. They're not taking them to the white communities. They're not taking to the Hispanic community. You're bringing people whom you're not vetting, whom you're not insisting take the jab the way you did us, or you lose your job. I know people who have lost their life. My own mother. So his concern is not the welfare of the seniors and the children in the community from you not vetting these people who come from violence, who come from war, who come from poverty. You're more concerned that they'll be further traumatized because that's what's going on in our communities. As the city council defends this bullshiggity in the name of $176 million and counting, $20 million per month to take care of them. You're more concerned, Mr. Avila, about them being traumatized, but not the people in South Shore. And this is what these niggard Negroes thought novel to hire to represent them. Let's go. What he's fighting for, either pro bono or with black dollars, is for these illegals to be placed in better communities. Let's go. With better schools. Because it gives them an opportunity to climb right over top a Black American freedman Negro, akin to what's happening with them all over the country. Let's go.
Putting them in an area where they could be further traumatized. Right. In high crime areas.
Over the last several months, thousands of migrants have been bused to Chicago from Texas. The city expects more bus loads in the coming days, with Title 42 expiring, a COVID-era policy which allowed the U.S. to send migrants back to their countries of origin quickly. A lawsuit has been filed against the city, arguing housing people at the shuttered school would not only violate its lease with CPS, but violate a zoning ordinance that doesn't allow residential housing there. The alderwoman for this ward says she wasn't given any heads up on the city's plan. The lawsuit follows a heated community meeting where people pushed back against the city's plan, and they plan to keep pushing.
We are strong. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to lie down and allow this to happen.
Now, we have reached out to the city and CPS for comments. So far, we have not heard back. We are live in Greater Grand Crossing. I'm Eric Rung, WGN News.
Done in. Hold on 1 second, family. Oh, I think she was about to say, I don't see the gentleman who was talking about the 18,000 ex-felons who can't find work. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, this really gets on my nerves when I can't find what I'm looking for. Ancestors insist. I've got to do it.
News, hold on. Let's go to the history. Let me share. Here it is. Now this is too long. I'm going to jump to we'll do this another time. I want to jump to the part where they're talking more about what's happening with the Black American freedmen Negroes in Chicago and how diabolical this is. Hold on one second.
These are invested stakeholders. These are friends. We have a few of our Woodline friends.
Rebuke efforts by the descendants of once enslaved African Americans.
All right. I'm going to let some other people speak.
I'm going to introduce you, Jimmy. He's one of the plaintiffs in the case.
Good afternoon. My name is Jimmy Darnell Jones, but please reference J. Darnell Jones. That's J. period. D-A-R-N-E-L-L Jones, J-O-N-E-S. I come to this podium today with a flame that burns on the necessity.
This is the brother I want to hear from. Sorry, guys. I'll do that video another time.
Good. My name is Tyrone Muhammad, Executive Director for Ex-Cons for Community and Social Change. So I won't even focus on the issue that they focused on. One of the main issues were that they have allowed, they said when the police was here, Natasha, that they was going to allow us to use this building to deal with our children, our at-risk youth that has terrorized and victimized our elders, our women, and our children. To use this facility to also have a safe space for our children to work while the police was training. I say that didn't happen. I'm going to say to Chicago and the world, it is unacceptable for Black men and boys to only have graveyards and prisons as their lot. You have 18, as a person who represents my constituents of formerly incarcerated men who's trying to amalgamate back into society to live a successful life, 18,000 ex-cons in Chicago is homeless. And we have a whole state and a whole city that talks and profess public safety. If I don't have a place to live and I'm unemployed, then you all become victims. So we don't even solve the issues of homelessness for our returning citizens. Yet we want them to amalgamate back into society safety. I'm starting to believe that terrorism in our community, along with redlining and Jim Crowism, is encouraged. We perform acts of bravery, formerly incarcerated men, and those that's out here serving and doing violence intervention. I'm telling you, this shouldn't be a big issue, but it is. We take guns and bullets off the streets, and it don't even make the news. Wow. Yeah. It don't even make the news. But this is a national issue. For who? We can't continue. We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this. That's right. That's right. So I'm gonna fall back, Natasha. Come on, Mama.
Can y'all?
Yeah.
Today I came home from doing my shopping. I had to go into my purse, get my ID out, show the police person where I live to get into the alley to go to my garage. Never in the 35 years have I had to show my identification to park in my garage.
Wow.
Where I pay the taxes, a lot of taxes. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that again. Please, neighbors, come and get me out of jail. I'm not going to do that again. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. See, we love our elders in our community. They are history.
No, I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling you, I've been in this community for 56 years. I've lived in the same house for 56 years on Patrick. I have seen this neighborhood when Gramson's and all those stores on 71st Street, and I see it now. This is I don't care what you want to try to call it. I don't care why they want to fix it. This is a systematic process to move us out.
Without a doubt.
Every day, I get 3 or 4 phone calls about, do you want to sell your house? No, I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling people, you don't have to move. If you sell, they're going to come in. If we don't sell, we got to stand strong.
That's right.
I am the only Black homeowner on my block.
You just get started.
Washroom over there in the football field. We've been begging for it.
Wow.
There are people who are selling their homes because the community has no choice who play in that place over there but to go in the alleyway to take care of their business. We have a swimming pool in South Shore High School, which has not been used forever. Last year, they said, we don't have enough lifeguards because they have not been training swimming and lifeguards here in South Shore that has a state-of-the-art swimming pool, but they brought the police here to train them in swimming. So all of these resources that have not come to us, now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Well, thank you so much for you all. Everybody, again, this is South Shore, and we appreciate you coming out, but this is not just about South Shore. This is about all our communities in Chicago, Black communities in the country. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. And I can get my contact information.
Well, South Carolina, I sure hope you're listening more than Chicago has. I have been sounding this alarm since 2019. I have shared how they have legislated us up out of the state of California under democratic rule and dominance with our vote. Not my midterm. I got my life. I was out there making that bitch bleed, meaning the ballot. It bled. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? I am the only Black homeowner on my block. We have been legislated out, and we have no place to go. I have told y'all, as California goes on everything, including reparations, so goes the nation. Not that you shouldn't fight for reparations. Keep up the good fight. But we have more immediate concerns than reparations that they are playing with and using as a political football. We have our very lives on the line. The line is on the line. The line is on the line. You continue voting for these demon rats to our genocide. Our kids don't stand a snowball's chance in hell. Our grandbabies, our great-grandbabies. Y'all can't stay home. And y'all need, if you're dragging folks to the polls, you better drag them to the polls to vote closed borders. A Black American freedman tangible.
Because there ain't even going to be enough of us around to receive whatever come of reparations. We've got no representation. The Congressional Black Caucus, all the branches of government are behind our genocide. And we keep voting for it. I'm fed up. Y'all started a novel idea to go out here and cast a vote for demon rats who've been in office 60 years since FDR, whom y'all been voting for, that got records against us several New York City blocks long. And because Trump tweets mean or plays in the hands of his moronic base, he's not nice, he's arrogant, he's racist. Y'all thought of a novel idea to put Kkkrow, the author of the 94 crime bill, and Kbami in office after they told you nothing was going to change for your people. Things have changed. Our genocide has just been ramped up with the black vote. Y'all better get a clue. Y'all do this bullshiggity in 24, it's the end of the line. They will be made legal. You give these demon rats a trifecta. They will be made legal, and they will have the right to vote, and your vote won't matter no more. Let's get to the comments. I'm already at 2 hours. This is ridiculous. But the ancestor says share and make the analogy. So South Carolina can see what's happening in Detroit, what's happening in North Carolina, what's happening in Maryland, what's happened in California. I gotta breathe. Fix it, Black Jesus. Let me get to your comments. I'm only going to read the more pertinent ones and try to comment and get y'all out of here in a few minutes. I won't be able to read them all. Thank you, co-host. Kkkrow entire team has undermined and is destroying the Black Americans. Kkkrow, indigenous, you're absolutely correct. She goes on to say, I don't know if you guys are she's or he's. I can't see I don't know. So if I call you out of your gender, if I mispronounce your name, just lovingly correct me. I meant to bring my glasses in here. They're in the boudoir. I just got to keep going. I will do my best. Black Americans, you're under attack. Wake up. Family, the demon rats have been declaring war, and now we're at the final stages. One more election, the line will be done. Hi, it's just Jules, Vincent Jackson, The Rock. I see you, fam reps. The SCDP and SCDBC is okay with being the mule for whitewash Dixiecrat policies. The new head SCDBC said so. Well, it's going to take more than their votes to turn the Titanic around. Prayerfully, y'all will share this with your people in South Carolina so they can have a peek into their future. It was just a small peek. I'd be here for 6 hours disclosing everything I know. I don't have that kind of time. I need to go to the beach and decompress. Hi, Beth. Welcome to the live, my love. Black Americans, stop voting demon rats. It's so detrimental to you. Kickapoo. It's not even about stopping voting for demon rats. It's get off your lazy ass and get to the polls to vote for closed border candidates. I'm not screaming at you, love. I'm screaming at our niggerants. My apologies. Staying home is how we got here too. It's not a new idea to withhold the vote. Y'all been doing that. 45 and under, that's what y'all been doing. That's how we got here. It's both and, not either or. Shit. Thank you, Yaira, my love. She retweeted and shared the broadcast. I need all y'all to make this go viral now. Y'all need to stop playing. Y'all need to share. I know I'm radical, but do we have time to soft shoe and just toe the line and be nice about this situation? Or are we out of time? 50 years ago, I might have been able to be nicer and more respectful. But I gotta call y'all out for your niggerance. Because you clearly don't appreciate when folks are soft shoeing and play in the middle of the road. Don't have time to babysit y'all's feelings. And be nice about it while our people are being genocided. We are currently being bottom cast. We need to wake up. We're in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom cast because capitalism requires a bottom cast, and they decided long ago that we're it, and we keep voting to be it. While saying niggerant things like your vote don't matter. Maybe the Electoral College can mess with the presidential election, but what's happening locally? I'm tired of some of these old, dumb black people. I'm sorry. It's pathetic. No, sis, bro. Kkkrow, I think that's a lady. Listen. You don't have to be sorry and apologize for being fed up with niggerants, as am I. We need to understand what these demon rats are doing, and they're here to decom. I don't know what that means. Look at television and film and the music industry. We can clearly see we're being replaced and our history is being erased. I just had the hardest time trying to share with you guys about how these crackers robbed and pillaged the Freedman Bank and would not shore up the monies they stole, and to this day have not returned those funds. Burned down 50 Black Wall Streets throughout the country. But we're told to pull ourselves up by our bootless straps. They have been waging war. The genocide is just intensifying with them opening the borders and processing the asylum seekers, as they call them. They're illegally entering the country, but they found a loophole through asylum seeker to grant them access to this country and our reparations and protections. And we keep voting for it. The same people screaming in Chicago voted for Brandon Johnson when I told them not to. They are decimating us. Talks pro-Black, but has a whole Latina wife. Make it make sense. Oh, you talking about Phil? Honey, same with Tariq Nasheed. He got a biracial. And you see everybody following his ass, and he's a grifter. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that you can really be about that Black life in the revolution while sleeping white. Immigration is death to Black Americans at this point, Kkkrow. And that's why I keep telling them to vote to close the border as a Black American Freedman Negro tangible. In 24, I'm done. If they don't do this, if they stay home and they vote blue no matter who, I'm done with this conversation. I may be looking to leave the country. Seriously. Because all of what's going to happen is they're going to put Crayola wanton white supremacists in charge of the country at every branch to continue to do the European glacier donkeys bidding to oppress us. Not one person in office, not even our own people, are talking about doing a damn thing for us. Cornel West got the nerve to be running under Bernie Sanders' People's Party and don't even have reparations on the platform. I don't even know if I can come back tonight to do that one. I may kick it to tomorrow. I'm going to pray about it. It's earmarked to go at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm in catch-up mode because the headlines are getting out from under me faster than I can bring you my perspective. And I thought, let me just get one out. My daughter's supposed to be away with her friends. I thought, let me get one more out. But I don't even know if I have it in me, family. This wears me out. I'm an independent too. Every Black American Negro freedman need to declare independence. Your vote should be up for sale. If you don't see nothing tangible from whom you are seeking to elect, it should be up for sale. Do a protest vote. Protesting is a tangible. Because at the rate we're going, what you're showing by continuing to vote blue no matter who, is that you don't have to do a damn, Democrats don't have to give you nothing and you're still going to vote for them. That's no incentive. I've used this example before. It's just like with your children. If you give them dessert before the vegetables, are they prone to eat the vegetables? No. So the Democrats got our collective figured out. In this video today, with the help of African Diaspora with Demetri K and Phil from his podcast, listen, that helped me to prove that we are still clueless as to what we're doing when we continue to push the lever for demon rats. White people are below birth rates, so they will always immigrate white Europeans so their numbers can stay high. Absolutely, fam. And these are anti-Black American freedmen Negro racists that they're flooding the country with. They're not taught our history, but they don't bother to take it upon themselves to learn it either. They're comfortable in their ignorance about what this country has not only done to us, but it's done to their countries. They're all too happy to get in bed with Crayola wanton white supremacists to keep the boot on our necks for their come up, no matter how slight. These are chess moves. We have Africans and Caribbeans changing their last names like they're Black Americans. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is Caribbean. I felt he was Caribbean. I just couldn't find evidence of it. Kkkrow, if you could email it to me over at therepperspect at Gmail, it's scrolling in the bar below. I'd really appreciate it. Let me tell you what else they're doing. They're scrubbing the internet so that you can't find where they descend from now that we've caught on to lineage. Now that we're riding high for us to be the ones to benefit exclusively from reparations based on lineage, you will be hard-pressed to find where they descend from, if they're first or second gen in this country. Now that we've awakened and caught on, they're listening to everything we do and say. But this is the way I reach the most people. So I have to be over here, giving up strategy like the protest voter strategy, because I've got to educate people about why they need to vote for closed borders. It's twofold: to close the borders and to punish the demon rats for several election cycles until they're begging us to cut our checks. So yeah, this is why we're over fighting with the OMB to unflatten blackness so that the country can stop getting away with masking its failures concerning foundational Black American freedmen Negroes. So it doesn't surprise me if they're changing their names. Black immigrants are opportunists. We have no allies. Honey, all immigrants are opportunists. They tell you straight. We didn't come to make friends with you. We came to genocide you. We came to take it over. We came to get wealthy. I'm tired of falling down Joe Biden and his crackhead son. Beth, aren't we all? Well, not all of us, clearly. Hi, Trey. Good morning. Hi, Diane. Nice to see you. Good morning. Vote close borders. Yeah, baby. Thank you, Diane. Anyone defending these illegals coming here is crazy. Lizzo is a two-time... This is not that channel. Hi, Gregory X. Nice to see you, fam. X Friedman. It is the 6th. Thank you. So it's not only the 6th district, but it's the 6th poorest district in the country. He's speaking of, he or she, speaking of South Carolina. I was trying to figure out where they ranked in terms of poorest districts in the country. X Friedman came through. I appreciate you, fam. Preach, says Diane. What did the illegals ask for? Yet our so-called representatives managed to know what their needs are and funded it. Woo, Diane, you said a word right there. They never had to say a thing because they know that what these illegals need is what we've long needed. But they refuse to spend our taxes on us. They're taking our taxes and reparations and spending it on them because they can't keep us bottom cast, which capitalism requires. Someone does have to trade places for us to be American, for us to be made whole. The only way to keep us as the anchor of this country with 3Ks, capitalism with 3Ks, is to make these immigrants more American with our reparations and tax dollars and the vote. They stole your money, sis, because they're diehard demon rats. They stole your money. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Marcel is running as a Democrat. Well, if he's going to run, it has to be for one of those parties. I'm going to get to it on the live about Cornell, but the People's Party, it only occupies 2 states. It's an exercise in futility. He is Bernie Sandering us. He's getting Black folks all over the country excited for nothing, only to hand them over to the demon rat that gets the nod in the same way Bernie Sanders did after disparaging Crooked Hillary on the campaign trail. In the end, he met with Obama and came out and told the people who were in support of him to go out and vote for her. Cornel West is doing the same thing, and I'm very disappointed that he would participate in these freaking shenanigans. And I'm equally as disappointed for niggerant Black American freedmen Negroes coming for me for not being in support of this political theater. I was going to say shit show, but it is a Sunday. I'm trying not to curse as much. Yeah, Tyreek is backing him, and that's the problem I've got with Marcel taking assistance from a grifter. You're going to be associated with the people you roll with. So I wish him good luck with that. But when I saw that he's tied to that grifted ass, y'all need to watch Moorish World TV and get a clue. That's not this broadcast. But I've been informed about Tariq Nasheed And I've not only been informed, I've experienced his shenanigans. He showed up on the phone to one reparations task force hearing here in California, and he showed up live at one. And yet he's posturing on his broadcast as if he's the face of what's happening with California reparations out here. Which is NASD, CJEC, ARC, CAP, CBAC, all of our grassroots all over the country. Not Tariq Nasheed's grifting ass. And don't get me started on that rib shack of the museum, hidden history. Ain't nothing hidden in there where you can find it online and just post it up there. Ain't nothing hidden about the history. It ain't even no museum like that. But he collected, what, $2 million from the people? That's what y'all gave for a rib shack, a juke joint, a lounge, a watering hole. That ain't this show. Angela, get back on track. Okay. Dr. Cornel West should run with the Green Party and not for the racist anti-Black People's Party. Listen here. All of them are racist. All of them are using the Black vote. They're using reparations to keep us sheep walking to the polls for the demon rats. These third parties cannot win. You are wasting your vote instead of returning the nuclear missile that the demon rats launched on Black American freedmen, Negro first. Instead of returning your vote like a nuclear missile akin to the one they've launched on our people, you playing with it. I played with it a couple of times on the general, but the midterm, I got my life, and I voted nothing but closed border candidates, even in the state of California, which is as blue as they come. So, I'm not for third parties at all. The Demon Rats and the Republicans have it on lock. Back to what I was saying about Marcel. He's got to choose between either of those parties. You ain't got no choice in the matter. Thank you, Diane. Sip and breathe, baby. The Saeed blackmail channel. And she blocked her. This woman is a lying hypocrite. She calls you all family, even though she doesn't know you. And she blocked her very own doppelganger on Twitter. Oh, the Saeed blackmail channel wants to be blocked. Wonderful. Let's do it, family. Ban this user and delete their fucking comments. Happily. And you are over here following at the Saeed blackmail channel. Oh, you just want somebody to come and hear what you got to say. Probably ain't nobody over at your channel. I ain't never even heard of you in the game. I got rid of his arse. Listen, I gotta learn how to make y'all mods so y'all can get rid of folks like this. I ain't got time for it. Marcel said he's a demon rat in South Carolina to be strategic. Thoughts? Yeah, he don't have a choice. This is what's happening with Cornel West. You're running under a People's Party that don't have a snowball chance in hell to win, which is why I know you're grifting off the Black voters to get a sheep walking to the polls for whatever demon rat that's going to beat you. You're not serious. You're not running anything Black on your platform. That's a whole nother broadcast, but yeah. Marcel's doing the right thing. If he's going to run it all, he has to choose a party. He can't win as a third party. Hi, Queen Yasmin. Wow, fled your ish whole country and got the nerve to have expectations of our dollars. Oh, yes, because they know that the demon rats is going, and the rhinos, let's not forget the Republican rhinos, overstand the only MAGA, which is the Tea Party, is for closed borders because it hurts their poor but it hurts us worse than their poor. We're worse off with immigration. Their poor whites are right above us. Overstand, I don't give a damn about Trump. I don't give a damn about repugnant clans. I don't give a damn about demon rats. I give a damn about Black American freedmen, Negro flourishing in the country our ancestors built with their lives. And the only tangible I see is closed borders. And I don't give a damn which party is offering it. I want it closed. Yeah, he don't want to wait, but we've been told to wait for 500 years and counting. Diane says, yeah, Black Americans told to wait. Damn these immigrants. Yep. Damn our government for allowing it. That's right, Yair. Chi-Town, after I sound the alarm, they effed around and found out. And there's no reversing this. That city council was just, an exercise in futility to tell them what they already voted to do. They can scream and rant and rave and march and take up space and wail and gnash their teeth all they want. The time to do that was to at the polls. But who listens to me? No one, clearly. Not enough. Y'all listen. I'm thankful for you. I didn't vote for Jim Crow, Crime Bill, Biden, and Chameleon, the laughing hyena in 2020. I voted for the Green Party. I voted for the Green Party in 22. I did the same, fam, at the top of the ticket. Yes, I did. It matters not, honey bunny. Let me help you. It does not matter. They can't win. I'm telling you to let's not be soft about what we've got to show the demon rats. Show them that your vote has shifted to closed border candidates. Show up to the polls and do something revolutionary and very radical and show them what we did. Don't put it in a Green Party. Don't stay home. Don't continue to vote for them. Show them what we're prepared to do in critical mass. You're not getting anything from them after not demanding anything since FDR until you bring them to their knees for several election cycles. They're the ones that declared war. And when they got a trifecta, after the Black vote gives it to them and delivers them, we're the only ones in distress. I'm not going to vote for Jim Crow, Crime Bill, and Chameleon, the laughing hyena, or the repugnant clans in 24. I am pretty sure that I will be voting for the Green Party's 24 presidential candidate. I don't agree with you, ex-Friedman, but okay. I'm here to find my tribe. Not everybody is willing to do as I've insisted, and I have to respect that. It's your vote. I can't make you. All I can do is make the case for why you should vote for closed border candidates. But I can't make you. I'm just hoping that I can make enough. The socialists have taken over Chicago Council. Brandon Johnson was backed by the Chicago Teachers Union. They have a socialist pact. Yeah, well. We have no pact. The black face of white liberals. Yes, ma'am. Because the city met with the Mexican aldermen who don't want those Venezuelans in their community. That's why they're not over there, and that's why they're in the black communities. The Green Party is not the winning ticket. That's playing checkers and won't get us anywhere. Thank you, Yaira. Well said. Excuse me, family. Brandon Johnson's campaign website specifically outlined his plans for illegals. No such plan for black citizens, and yet they voted for it. Now they wish they could put the genie back in the bottle. Too late. Chicago does not even know where the 51 million that they committed to is going to come from. Their tax dollars in the Fed, our tax dollars. They've already given them 126 million. Hold on. 125. 20 million per month. State lawmakers approved sending $20 million to Chicago for care housing of immigrants. Let me see here. Let's go here. Let me share my screen. Chicago man 55 who was arrested for trying to block buses of migrants moving into the Windy City slams 51 million immigrant aid package. A Chicagoan who was arrested earlier this year when he tried to block migrant buses moving into the Windy City has slammed its new $51 million immigrant aid package. Andre Smith, 55, described the situation as a mess and demanded that officials temporarily pause the city's sanctuary status, which has led to it being overwhelmed with more than 10,000 migrants since August. It's not just those 250 they're talking about housing. It's a mess here, he told Fox and Friends Weekend on Saturday. We have in Chicago $160 million that was spent for the migrants with no records, no plan. And now we're fixing to spend $51 million that was passed the city council with no record, no plan for 500 migrants for 30 days. That's unheard of. So this brother that was speaking out about it in the earlier video, that looks like the same man. He was arrested. And then he congratulated this clown. Never has it been done before. 500 migrants, 51 million, no plan of execution, so I'm calling for a forensic audit. So that 51 million on top of the 160 makes 211 million on migrants. Nothing for Black folks. Never has it been done before. 500 migrants, 51 million, no plan of execution, so I'm calling for forensic audit, Smith said. I'm calling for a sanctuary hold on this city. I'm calling for the mayor to freeze on what we call a sanctuary disaster after he congratulates him for winning the mayoral seat. Smith suggested that some of the money earmarked for the migrant package should be invested in struggling Black communities in Chicago. When you look at Memorial Day, we had 53 people shot in the city of Chicago, 11 killed. That's just on Memorial Day weekend, so you can put that money to crime, he said. The Chicago Police Department said that 53 people were shot in 42 separate incidents between 6 p.m. on Friday and 11:59 p.m. on Monday. WTTW reported at the time. One person was also fatally stabbed. Smith said his fight against city officials would go on. I waited for 55 years to get arrested by stopping a bus of migrants to go into a school the taxpayers paid for. He said the fight will continue. Going to jail or not, we're going to fight, he added. At least 3 people, including Smith, were arrested while protesting the Chicago's decision to move migrants into a former Woodlawn school building in February. Block Club Chicago Club Chicago reported. In May, furious residents filed a lawsuit against the city after it announced plans to house illegal immigrants in a disused high school in the South Side. Me speaking, Rahm Emanuel shut down 50 Black schools, and this is how they're repurposing it. The same way they repurposed the money for the pandemic, When we lost over 40,000 blacks to that man-made crises, that money was repurposed right up out of our communities. We never saw any of that. They keep doing that in the name of our never-ending Holocaust. Back to the text. The old South Shore High School was expected to become, in May, furious residents filed a lawsuit against the city after it announced plans to house illegal immigrants in a disused high school in the South Side. The old South Shore High School was expected to become a temporary holding space for up to 500 migrants, but officials were unable to clarify at the time for how long. More than 10,000 migrants have flooded the city since buses started arriving from the U.S.-Mexico border in August, and some have had to resort to sleeping in police stations because of scarce housing options. They don't give a damn about the fact that Black Chicago is 73% of the homeless population. Officials have pleaded for more financial help, but others demanded the money should go to the other places, neighborhoods.
What are the two things every new business owner wishes they had more of? Time.
I'm conflicted.
Today at City Council, the definition of politics, a battle over scarce resources. At issue, whether to appropriate $51 million in budget surplus money to help care for migrants sent to Chicago from Texas. The council approved the spending, with 34 members voting yes and 13 voting no. Debate was passionate and at times emotional.
And I'm conflicted because in my heart, I know what's right. I know it's right to want to help other people, because as Black people, that's what we do. But when the hell are y'all gonna help us?
So if there's enough to go around, then let's pass an ordinance where we see the enough.
Although the money will only last through June and other communities must wait to see new investments, some members urge their colleagues to be pragmatic about their vote.
What we are listening to today is historical and generational trauma. Decades, centuries of disinvestment in our Black communities.
And everybody that's working hard for this, you've got to show up for Black Chicagoans with the same energy.
Alderman Raymond Lopez opposed the measure, saying millions have already been spent supporting migrants.
Nobody wants to ask the question that Jerry Maguire made so famous. Show me the money. Where is it?
Also speaking out today, community activists strongly opposed to using the money for the migrants. Several members of council noted today that it's the federal government that left Chicagoans fighting over how to handle the migrants. They want to see the Biden administration do more. Live this afternoon from City Hall, Tamon Bradley, WGN News.
Well, family, I'm at 2.5 hours. I know I took up most of the time, but there was no choice in the matter. I had to share what the ancestors implored upon me to show you, to make the case for why we must protest vote against the demon rats in 24, or it's the end of the line for our line. You ain't seen nothing yet. 211 million they've spent on illegals while Blacks go homeless, while they're starved of resources and crimes and murders are on the rise. They're bringing in more crime and murder with the Mexican cartels. These folks from Guatemala, Venezuela, they come from those environments. They are fully prepared to gut us like fishes in our own communities. We're being pushed further and further and further out where there are no resources, where it makes it complex to even get to the jobs in the city that pay more money than these rural places that here in California we're being forced out to. The median home price in California now is, I think the last time I checked, around $800,000. The same home that sold for $400,000.
I'm just waiting for the prices to drop. I'm waiting for the bottom to fall out so I can buy another property out here, so that I could leave my daughter generational inheritable wealth. I clearly am going to have to make sure I am her reparations, as all of us have to do. We have to make sure our children don't rely on Crayola wanton white supremacists in charge of this country for a damn thing. You can't just fight for reparations. You got to fight for your very survival. And the way I've suggested and have been suggesting is to vote to close the borders for several election cycles until the demon rats are begging us to cut our checks. I think I'm going to bring you Cornel West tomorrow. I am so depleted. I want to do our spiritual treatment and pray us out. Thank you, co-host, for keeping it lit. For those of you who are tuning in after the live, make sure you turn the live chat on. My co-hosts are some of the best in the nation. And I'm always grateful when they show up, no matter what time I go live. Y'all are here, ride or die with your sister. And I'm so grateful for you to help make my message go viral. I'm grateful to you because I know you're doing your best. As I mentioned yesterday, if you have a candle and would like to write this down and burn your candle or not, totally up to you, feel free to do so. But we need the spirit of the ancestors and Yeshua and whomever else you celebrate your oneness with God with. We need all of that right now. We're on life support. We are at ground zero. So I want you to take a deep cleansing breath in and release it. Breathe in love, exhale peace for Black American freedmen, Negro, and our allies. One more time, family. Let us become still. You can repeat after me aloud, or you can say this with me within yourself. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the police officers, CPS Child Protective Services, judges, attorneys, FBI agents, the CIA, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporation with 3 Ks with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore, in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states, across all timelines, realms and dimensions known and unknown. And so it is. You may want to write this on your candle. You may want to type it out and paste it to your candle. You can get them for around $1 at the Dollar Tree, or wherever they sell discounted stuff, the long white candles. And you want to burn them until the manifestation of transformative economics and politics for Black American Negro freedmen. The demon rats have clearly declared war on us. And this is a spiritual warfare. I need everybody's consciousness that overstands the mission to get involved. And with that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. If no one's told you today how much they love you, know that I love you, Black American freedman, Negro strong. And until we meet again, family, I'm going to try to come back at 8 tonight. If not, I'll leave it to 8 tomorrow. I'll know later in the day how I'm feeling. Like I said, this depletes me. But until we meet again, whether it's later tonight or tomorrow or whenever we meet again, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your Sunday and work week if you don't come back to join me, okay? I'll be back for sure next weekend. I kind of like this time slot. Yeah, I kind of like it. We'll see. I'm playing with it, but I will be here a little bit more regularly, at least once a week is what I'm really working and striving to commit to. The time might change contingent on my to-do list, but that's the goal. Until next time, family, always remember, we cannot afford to give in, to give up, or to give out. Our entire line is depending on us when it comes to flourishing. And I thank you, fellow comrades, for being in this fight with me every step of the way. I appreciate you more than I have the words to convey. Until next time, family, peace and love and reparations.